Helton. Coach will open it up with a statement, then we'll jump into questions.
Got a bye week this week. Got a lot to do. Got a lot of things we got to focus on, get better at as a football team, get ready for conference play. Got a lot of recruiting going on. Got weekday games in October that are going to come up on us quickly. This week we'll be preparing for UTEP primarily, but also trying to dive into Sam Houston because that'll be a quick turnaround right after UTEP. So a lot of work, a lot of things to get going. We're in the part of that football season where you know everything about your football team. You know your strengths, your weaknesses. You know what you need to work on. And so we're going to take advantage of this week to see if we can get better as a football team. With that said, questions?
Coach, since I've been here, it feels like this has been one of the best two-game stretches for Western Kentucky defense since I've been here. Does the bye week sort of help the guys rest and continue that momentum into next week, or does it kind of maybe stunt momentum that you've kind of gathered?
I think there's a balance between trying to take care of the guys and not overwork them, but also take advantage of an opportunity to get better as a football team. We have a veteran group that likes to work. I think they're highly motivated. We come off a tough loss at Boston College where we felt like really should have won that game. So I think our guys will be anxious to try to get back out there and get better at the things we need to work on. So I think there's a balance in both. I think you got to be careful about, trying to protect the guys, get their bodies back, but at the same time, getting good, solid practices in and trying to get better as a football team.
Just want to get kind of your feeling on the start to this season. Obviously, a couple of P4s in there. You got a couple of rivalry games. You guys come out of this pretty good record-wise, but could have been even better with Boston College. How do you feel about the start?
I think, we are sitting in a position where we know what we could be, and I think we can be a really good football team. I do think we're going to be in games like these past 2 weeks versus a good Toledo team and a good Boston College team. We're going to get into conference play, and we're going to face teams that are just like them, and we're going to be in the same exact games again, with the same exact circumstances and having critical downs that can make or break the game. And so, again, I think we have a football team that knows how to win, but we also got to get better in critical downs and critical areas so that we can beat the teams that we know we're going to be in a dogfight with in conference so that we can try to make a run in conference play to be in a championship game.
Now, obviously, hindsight is everything, but when you look back at the Boston College game, that first series, you made it a staple when you're playing these P4 teams to be aggressive and go for it. Kind of looking at that first series there and going for it on fourth down after 18, did you, not do you regret it, but, do you feel like you had to be aggressive at that time and knowing that?
Yeah, no, really I didn't. That was kind of a no-brainer, to be honest with you. You're on the road, you're playing a good team. I really think it doesn't matter what game it would have been. Analytics say go for it anyways. I don't follow analytics 100%, but it's a good reference point. But yeah, at that point of the game, 100% of the time, you're usually trying to go for it, unless there's some circumstance that where you needed to kick the field goal. But yeah, that was kind of a no-brainer. But we're going to go for that one.
Obviously, you always want the win, but does it kind of help in these back-to-back weeks to have a game where you overcome the deficit and then you give up the deficit? Does it help to kind of really see those close and the differences between those and what you could have done differently?
Yeah, like we talk about all the time, it's a game of inches, right? And it really just comes down to a couple plays, and players know that. And again, I said we got a veteran group that they understand those critical downs. You looked at last week at Toledo, where our defense twice in the red zone, they come up with huge stops, right, and get the turnovers. We were out at 3rd and 8, they're about to go do it again. We give up a sack fumble on a 3rd and 6, at a critical time. I don't know why, the game is this was great about college football, a key player, their number 6, the defensive end shows up, creates a sack fumble at a critical time, right? You wish it wouldn't happen. Defense is up. we get them into a 3rd and 8, and we're right there in coverage, and they catch it, right? Before we made the play, so our defense and our team understands that you got to make those plays at critical times if you want to win it, and it's a game of inches. So I like our football team. I like where we're trending. We are going to be in these situations again probably 3 or 4 more times. I've said this about conference play. It's really, we're all about the same. I don't care what anybody says. Something about conference play, especially when you go on the road and all those kind of things, you end up in dogfights. So our team understands that, and then we gotta be on the winning side of those plays when they come up again.
So far this year, you guys are about 60 yards off total offense from last year, about 5 points down. I mean, obviously, small sample size. Do you see that as just kind of what this offense is going to be this year, or is it the opponents you've been playing? What do you expect?
Great, that's a great question. I think we're going to have to get to more of the season, farther down in the season, to see where we are. I think that the data in 5 games, when we played Alabama, obviously on the road, that's statistically, that's going to come back to hurt you a little bit. There's key stats that you really look at is the turnover piece, right? And it's the scoring piece, and on both sides of the ball. And you really want to be on the plus side. We've done a good job of creating the turnovers, so that's a good thing. We need to continue to do that. We've been fairly good in the red zone, we're scoring touchdowns. Now in this past game, we needed a couple of those field goals to be touchdowns. So I think we're yet to see where we are. At the end of the game, the most important thing is winning, and you got to be in the win column. It's nice to look at stats and to analyze where you're at, but they don't tell the full story sometimes. I'm an offensive guy. I love to say that I look at where scoring is, or look where we are in passing and all those kind of things, but really it comes down to turnovers and scoring that you really, really want to look at.
2 games as Caden was a starter. Do you feel like he's settled into the role?
I think he's settled in the role. I think he's needs to continue to develop even more. I think there were some plays in the game that he would have liked to have done some different things. But there was also some plays in the games where he really, really made the play, to be honest with you. Their front 4 was really good, had really good pass rush. They were on him quick, and he did a good job of getting the ball out, finding the receivers quickly. So that's a good sign. So he's progressing and trending in the right direction. I think there is a confidence there and a calmness there with him that's really good for a guy that hasn't been the starter very long, and that's an important piece. So I personally like that piece. He needs to continue to improve his play, though, if we want to make a conference run.
Coach, talk about the trench game specifically on the defensive side of the ball. Feels like you young pieces like Tyson McRae has been able to get out there, but also Walker as well on the inside. Just the defensive trenches and the trenches. How do you analyze that and what you're seeing from that position?
Yeah, we're really doing a great job up front. The game is really won at the line of scrimmage, and we got multiple guys that we can roll in there. Some guys that are finally veterans that we've raised up through the program. That's the one thing about recruiting. When in the portal world, you got to have the balance between. I know everybody looks at us and say, "Well, Coach, you've done a great job in the transfer market and all that," but I'm always going to have a certain number of high school guys that we need to grow. In a year or 2 time, they should be your best players. So you have to have that balance. I think we're starting to see that. And we've done very, very good at developing those guys, particularly the defensive line. Our D-line coach, Carson Hall, has done a spectacular job with that group. So guys like a Deontay McRae, you're really starting to see come into their own, and that's good. We need to see that.
Kind of piggybacking off of that, defensively, these past 2 games, the defense has played lights out. Just kind of what are your thoughts on this defense so far, and how they've come, since the Alabama game until where we are now?
Yeah, I think they're where they should be. I expected our defense to be really the leaders of our team. I've said all the time, defense leads the way. if you want to be in a conference championship game, you better have a good defense. We've been around here and we're kind of known for offense and all those kind of things, but if I had my preference, I'd have a great defense, because they win championships. And so they're doing that right now. They got to continue to do that. And we're going to play a UTEP team that likes to spread it around in a week. And they're a team that we've played before and played their head coach, in his style of play. And so we'll be tested again defensively against a UTEP team that likes to open it up, and it's something we haven't gone against yet. So we need to be prepared for that, and I'm glad we got an extra week there to do that. But very proud of where we are defensively right now. They're playing well, but we need that week in and week out if we're going to make a conference run.
Caden has 4 interceptions over the last 2 games. How has he kind of handled that mentally, and how, as a coaching staff, have you kind of handled that with him, and your thoughts and what you're kind of feeding him?
It's we're going to play aggressive, and he's developing. So you're going to take the good with the bad, and those are going to happen. And the interception down the field in the game, he was throwing it to the right guy. We had a little push there up the middle, so he really couldn't step into the throw. So it was an underthrown ball that kind of looked bad, but his timing was good. Where he was going was good. We're going to have to take some of those growing pains there. And you'd like to think week in and week out he'll just continue to improve. Like I said earlier, turnovers are a key piece, and we got turnovers defensively in this game that gave us an opportunity. We can't turn the ball over offensively, especially when you play a good Boston College team. I mean, offensively, there was 2 critical plays for us. I thought we played well offensively against a really, really good defense. Would have liked to not kick the field goals and would have got touchdowns, especially right before the half. But in the second half, the third down, we throw a screen out there. Unfortunately, it bounces off the receiver's chest. The defender standing right there, interception, they get the ball at midfield. Up to that point, we knew defensively if we give them a long field, they probably can't sustain. They hadn't shown that they could up to that point, right? The second one is the 3rd and 5. You're at the -20 sack fumble, critical part of the game. Now our defense has got to go out there at the -18 and stop them. So those 2 turnovers were critical, and that's where offensively we got to make sure we take care of that and don't have that.
Just back on Caden too. He's shown that he kind of adds an extra element to your offense with his running ability. You've used that a couple of touchdowns against Toledo. Have you talked to him about maybe dialing it back a little bit, though? I mean, there has to be concern that he's taking some shots.
No, that's on me. He's going to naturally run a little bit on his own and scramble a little bit, which is good. We're going to run him occasionally. It is in the back of our mind. I like what we're doing offensively currently. I think it gets defenses off balance, and it allows us to not have to face drop 8 coverage all the time when we want to throw the football. They have to respect the run game. They have to respect the quarterback running it. Anytime a quarterback has the ability to run it, and you do run the quarterback, it adds a new dimension, and defenses don't like it. It's really something they hate to see. We try not to put Caden in as many running scenarios as we can. But he's a big physical guy, and he's athletic enough to do that, and it's helped us offensively. So we'll continue to have a little piece of that in the offense for sure.
Also offensively, Keyshawn has come in and led the team in, reception yards and touchdowns. It's kind of been like that reliable guy that you can, always depend on. With how deep this receiver room is, did you expect him to come in and be as great as he has been, and how you feel about him so far?
He's done a nice job. He's done what we'd like him to do. I need him to continue to get better. I need him to get better. I need him to continue. There's still plays there that can be made. I think he knows that. I think there's some critical plays where we need to make that play or do that route more precisely so that we can get that reception. But what I like about Keyshawn is he's probably one of the hardest working guys on the team. You know, he is out there running thousands of yards after, I mean, every practice, the guy's running thousands and thousands of yards because we track their yardage. He's out there post-practice working on his game. So the want-to piece is there, the devotion piece is there. He's done a solid job up to this part. He needs to take it to a whole nother level now if we want to go make a run.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, guys.